They've just sounded a siren.
By buying any goods from Israel.
I'm in Ireland watching pro-Palestine activists stage a boycott action inside this Dublin grocery store.
We're all complicit in war crimes when we support the Israeli economy.
Security has just tried to stop them and they told them this is private property and they have to leave.
We're press.
We're journalists. These activists reflect growing anger among the Irish public over their government's ties to Israel. Even though there have been countless displays of Irish solidarity with Palestine,
Free! 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 Free!
and the Irish government has voiced its support for Palestinians,
We are the first government in the European Union to say what Israel is doing is genocide.
people across Ireland are accusing the government of silent complicity in Israel's occupation and genocide. That's because despite its global reputation, it turns out Ireland is actually the second biggest importer of Israeli goods in the world, mostly high-tech components. And the Irish government allows the US to transport weapons through its territory, raising concerns among many that could include arms for Israel. And that's prompted some young activists to take direct actions like this.
Two aims is to damage the planes, and then also we want to search the planes because the Irish government refuses.
I'm Palestinian, and I've been closely following the wave of solidarity coming out of Ireland. So I traveled here to find out why the Irish people are so pro-Palestine, why the Irish government still has ties to Israel, and how ordinary people are challenging those relations today. There's a perception around the world that the Irish government is quite pro-Palestine. What's your response to that?
They say the right things, but their actions don't match their words.
And many say that's because of its close relationship with the US.
Ireland doesn't want to upset America. America has a plethora of investments here in this country.
Ireland is currently on track to become one of the first EU countries to ban trade with Israel's illegal settlements, but its people want more. And they're rising up for Palestine in everyday spaces, with some willing to take big risks, including prison time.
Possibly facing arrest. It doesn't really compare to what people in Palestine have to go through.
I've heard Palestinians describe Ireland as a second home, and as a Palestinian American, the Irish people's loud and unapologetic support for Palestine has always meant a lot to me. I'm actually Palestinian.
Oh yeah, amazing. Saoirse on Palestine. That means free Palestine.
We will be out marching again and again until Palestine is free.
Which means a day will come, and so will the Palestinians.
So I traveled across the island, north and south, to find out what's at the heart of this solidarity, which is at its loudest today amid Israel's genocide in Gaza. Why are the Irish so pro-Palestine?
Palestinians have been treated atrociously, just like the Irish.
We ourselves were colonised by an oppressor.
It's Britain's first colonial project here in Ireland.
They've tried to take our lands.
Deny our culture, deny our heritage.
Forced starvation of millions of people. Irish people have experienced that.
It's been very emotional being here as a Palestinian. I've never felt so embraced, maybe in any country, let alone a Western country.
Yeah, I think it is because the Irish people have such a kinship with the Palestinian people, I think.
I see you're getting a little emotional.
Yeah, I do. It does get very, I find it very emotional. People are trying to do as much as they can, and hopefully their government will join in.
I've been tipped off that activists are holding a protest at this Dunnes supermarket, so I'm on my way to find them. What does the sticker say?
Boycott Israeli products.
This is the product in question, pseudo-cream. It treats diaper rash. They've taken all of the products off the shelf, they've slapped stickers onto them, and they're leaving boycott stickers where the cream used to be. Pseudo-cream is a household product in Ireland, and it used to be made here, but it's now owned by Israeli pharmaceutical giant Teva.
I mean, it's for babies, to take care of babies, which is the opposite of what the Zionists do.
They've just sounded a siren.
Good evening, shoppers. We are removing pseudo-cream from the shelves because it is no longer what many people think it is.
The Irish are no strangers to supporting boycotts. 41 years ago, workers from this very store refused to handle fruits from apartheid South Africa. Their strike helped push Ireland to ban South African imports in 1987, making it the first country in the West to do so.
When you buy pseudo-cream today, you are financially supporting a company tied to an apartheid regime.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
No Irish shells for apartheid goods.
Saoirse, don't Palestine.
It's a message to the workers, to the shoppers, to wake up and realise that we are complicit, not just in what our government does, but what we as consumers do, that we're normalising this brutal, brutal regime.
This year, Ireland made history again as the first country in the West to propose legislation to sanction trade with Israel's illegal settlements, which are a key part of its apartheid system. And public pressure is now mounting on the government to pass that legislation into law. It's known as the Occupied Territories Bill. At the time of our reporting, that bill is set to ban goods imported from the illegal settlements, things like dates, olives, and wine. But it's actually a watered-down version of an earlier bill proposed 7 years ago that the government blocked. That earlier version would have banned trade in goods and services. That means it would have impacted companies like Airbnb, which lists rentals in the settlements and runs its Middle East operations from its Dublin headquarters. And there's a precedent for sanctions like these. Ireland, along with other EU countries, banned trade in goods and services from Crimea after Russia annexed it in 2014. Palestine! Many are disappointed that the Occupied Territories Bill doesn't go far enough, but if it passes, it will still be historic. Senator Frances Black introduced the original bill in 2018. Now, she's leading the drive to make the current version go further.
We are fighting tooth and nail to get goods and services. We want the bill passed in its entirety.
Do you think that the Irish government is feeling the pressure of the people here who are so pro-Palestine?
I've never seen a piece of legislation that is so well known by the public. What they want on it is goods and services, and we're getting emails on a daily basis from the Irish people on this issue alone. And I do think that the government are feeling that pressure. If our government is brave enough, I believe other countries will follow suit.
What do you want to see the Irish government do long term when it comes to trade with Israel?
We need to do what we did back in the 80s with apartheid South Africa. We cannot continue to allow Israel to act with impunity, killing people on a daily basis. Next steps, we need to ban all trade with Israel.
You may be surprised to learn that Ireland is a major trading partner with Israel. In fact, it's the second biggest importer of Israeli products in the world, behind the US and ahead of China. In 2024, Ireland bought over $3 billion in goods from Israel, mostly components for pharmaceutical and tech manufacturing. And a lot of that is believed to be linked to Intel, the US computer chip manufacturer that operates in both Ireland and Israel.
The state is just so beholden to these US multinational interests. They don't want to rock the boat, they just want to be subservient to US policy and the war machine.
Ireland's economy is heavily reliant on foreign direct investment, especially from the US. Many major corporations have headquarters here, in large part due to the country's low corporation tax rate. In total, nearly 1,000 US companies pour tens of billions of dollars into the Irish economy every year. And today, Ireland is facing increasing pressure from the US and Israel over the introduction of the Occupied Territories Bill. Some fear that if the bill passes, influential companies could pull out of Ireland under pressure from the US and pro-Israel lobbyists. And it's not just US companies that have a significant presence here. Since 9/11, the Irish government has allowed the US military greater use of its airports. That's because Ireland aligned itself with the US in the so-called War on Terror and became a strategic waypoint for the US wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. At the center of this is Shannon Airport in the west of Ireland. Over the past 2 decades, millions of US soldiers have transited through Shannon, and thousands of US flights carrying weapons have landed there to refuel.
Demilitarized Shannon Airport, the US military is now focusing.
Amid Israel's genocide in Gaza, funded and armed by the US, a new generation of young activists is targeting Shannon Airport to disrupt its role in transporting US weapons to war zones.
Go, 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 go.
They're part of a new group called Palestine Action Éire, which takes inspiration from decades of direct action at Shannon Airport. They're also targeting companies in Ireland linked to Israel's arms industry. So I'm on my way to meet 2 young women who are part of Palestine Action, and they're facing potential prison time for a direct action they took at Shannon Airport. In May 2025, Sinead, Claire, and another Palestine Action member planned to drive onto the runway to inspect the cargo of a US plane. When their van got stuck, they charged at the aircraft.
Should I make a run for the plane?
I think we should.
Let's go. Okay, run.
The goal was to stop it from flying wherever it was going in whatever way possible. We've been allowing the US, which is involved in so many conflicts and genocides, to fly munitions through our airspace and through Shannon Airport.
Ireland's policy of military neutrality prohibits weapons or munitions from transiting through its land or airspace without government permission. But the government routinely grants exemptions to US planes, letting them land at Shannon or fly through Irish airspace with virtually no inspections of what's actually on board.
How do you see this in light of Ireland's official position of neutrality? It's a stain on our neutrality, but the reality is that our neutrality has been a lie for quite some time.
The Irish Transport Minister confirmed to us that since October 2023, US civil air operators have received exemptions to carry munitions of war when making stopovers in Ireland. He also said none were bound for Israel. But when it comes to Irish airspace, the government previously confirmed that military equipment bound for Israel did fly through without the required permissions. Critics say loose government policy is to blame for all of this. That's why some lawmakers are pushing to enact a bill for spot inspections and a ban on weapons bound for Israel. The government had previously put this legislation on pause in 2024.
What's personally motivating you to take these kind of actions for Palestine? There have been decades and decades of protest, and it's kind of got us nowhere materially. Where we've seen kind of evidence of most success is in direct action, and that's what's motivating me. Seeing direct action in other countries like Palestine Action in the UK, seeing how effective they are. They have shut down arms factories.
In July 2025, Britain designated Palestine Action UK as a terrorist group after years of direct actions targeting companies linked to Israel's military. The move criminalizes membership and imposes prison sentences of up to 14 years for support. Police in the UK have arrested thousands for simply holding signs against the ban.
The terrorists are not Palestine Action. Freedom for Palestine.
What does it mean to you to be part of Palestine Action when they are being criminalized currently in the UK? Irish people with our history of colonization and resistance understand how the label of terrorism is thrown around, and it's the people committing the genocide that obviously are the terrorists. These type of actions don't come without risks, including the risk of arrest and imprisonment. Does that worry you? No one wants to go to prison, but seeing the suffering of people in Palestine, I feel like I have to do anything I can.
We're in Dublin at the National March for Palestine. Thousands of people have come from all across Ireland here demanding accountability from their government.
The Irish government, you have to act. You have to act.
That ball right behind me is a symbol of the central bank, and written on it is "Stop Funding Genocide."
While here, I witnessed outrage over another controversial policy.
The Irish state is complicit in genocide because the Central Bank of Ireland regulates the sale of Israeli war bonds.
In 2021, Israel chose Ireland as the EU country responsible for approving the sale of Israeli bonds on behalf of the European market. That meant the Irish Central Bank was signing off on the paperwork, allowing Israel to raise money from European investors.
Part of the funding for these killing machines, the missiles, the bombs, facilitated by the Irish Central Bank.
That actually changed in September 2025, just weeks after I left Ireland, when Israel chose Luxembourg as the EU country to manage its bonds instead. That decision followed months of public outcry in Ireland, outcry the centre-right government ignored as it blocked efforts by opposition lawmakers to stop the sale of Israeli bonds.
It's kind of frustrating because we hear this all the time. Oh, Ireland's the most pro-Palestine country. Oh, your government is great, but they are hiding behind that rhetoric. They say the right things, but their actions don't match their words.
After hearing from so many passionate Irish people, I wanted to know how a Palestinian living here is experiencing the gap between public solidarity and the government's actual stance.
Thank you, finally.
22-year-old Abubaker Abed was an aspiring sports reporter in Gaza with a love of football. But when Israel's assault began, he became, as he calls it, an accidental war correspondent. I met him 3 months after he fled Gaza and arrived in Ireland.
I think Ireland is a lovely country. The people have kind of a great understanding of the Palestinian cause. It's a second home to me, to be honest.
We attended a football match at a place with a long-standing history of solidarity with Palestine, Daly Mount Park. It's the home of the Bohemian Football Club, better known as Bohs, a team in the Irish Premier League.
Bohemians has often been described as a left-wing club. We are completely fan-owned. The Palestine flags, the murals,
everybody's welcome here.
This stadium became the first place to host a Palestinian national team on European soil, when Bose invited the Palestinian women's football team to play here in 2024.
I'm Palestinian from the US, and we don't really see stuff like this, so it means a lot.
There's a lot of empty words in terms of we want to do the right thing coming from government, and none of it leads to any meaningful action. So I think what you're seeing here as well is a frustration in relation to that.
You were an aspiring sports commentator, and here we are at a stadium watching a game. What does that feel like for you now?
I remember I still have those very taunting and haunting images from Gaza, corpses and dismembered children, mothers weeping in grief. You can't find a moment of peace or anything because your people are being genocided, mass slaughtered, mass displaced, mass starved. It's painful, very painful joy to stand in this pitch.
What more do you want to see people do, both in Ireland and around the world?
What you need from the Irish people is to understand that I can't bear living in a country whose government is fueling a genocide. Stop your government from acting on behalf of you, fueling a genocide in Gaza.
And the majority of Irish people want just that.
I'm hearing them chant in our hundreds, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. It's a chant I've heard elsewhere, but when you hear the Irish say it here, it really hits differently.
I had high hopes for visiting Ireland, and the people I've met here are some of the warmest and most welcoming I've encountered.
The Irish people make you feel heard, make you feel known. They stand shoulder to shoulder with you.
But as is often the case, there's a disconnect between the people and their government, and I was struck by just how big it is here.
The Irish government, they choose to cover their eyes, ignoring the will of the Irish people who constantly, week after week, protest and make their voices heard.
As Abubaker now witnesses Israel's genocide and the mass starvation of his people from afar, he says it's important for the world to remember that Palestinians are resisting colonialism, just like the Irish did.
When Ireland was freed, it didn't free itself by protests, it didn't free itself by peaceful demonstrations or whatever. It did go with the resistance to tackle off all the British colonialism and imperialism, and that's how it nailed its own freedom. What I want from these people is to understand the broader context of what Palestinians are going through.
Ireland in its history has had a colonial power, but we're here today. They didn't win, we won. And history will show that the Palestinians will win.
Hey guys, it's Dena. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for the rest of my series from Ireland. Up next, I'll be going to Northern Ireland to explore the legacies of British colonialism.